Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Nerd to the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I'm your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo. With me, as always, this epic quest of awesomeness, and looking a little haggard this week is our resident anime goddess, the Cat. Cat, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm very tired. I haven't slept. I don't know what's going on, but I haven't been sleeping real well lately. I'm hoping to solve that. I ordered some new pillows that I'm hoping will make my sleep a little more comfortable, but I basically haven't really gotten more than 6 hours of sleep for like the last month. And I'm very tired. If somebody has placed a hex on me that of any kind that makes me incapable of sleeping, stop kindly, please. Or if there's, if I have to I don't know, sacrifice something.
You need a real life version of the Dreamstone from our RPG thing.
I know, God, I need that. So if anybody has a Dreamstone lying around, that would be just the best.
Yeah, because we're goats are out of season, so you can't find one of those to sacrifice.
Right. No, they're just like everything else. You can't find them on store shelves right now.
All right, and that other voice is our returning co-host, Mike the Birdman Dodd. Mike, how you doing?
I'm not fucking dead. Surprise, motherfuckers! I'm back. And quick side note before we go anywhere today. So as of today's show recording, I am in Facebook jail. And you know who put me in Facebook jail? Don fucking Cheadle. That's right. War Machine from the MCU. Because I was watching Space Jam and I said I was going to flail at Don Cheadle and kick his ass. So I got Zuck fucked for the next 24 hours. Enjoy! Continue.
Yeah, I think it really says something about how hard lockdown has been on all of us that we consider that an achievement.
Yeah, that's by the algorithm.
Well, Don Cheadle, it's that adjacent to celebrity that really just bumps it up in esteem.
I would really love it if he responded to me on Twitter, but like, dude, I love you as War Machine, but fuck you in Space Jam.
Let's be honest, Don Cheadle probably peaked in DuckTales. Oh, God.
Okay, all right, but that's kind of the roundabout way of revealing our discussion topic for this week, which is things that we're looking forward to after the pandemic. Things are finally starting to open up just a little bit. We're kind of seeing just a bit of a return to normalcy, so we thought it'd be fun to talk about things that we're looking forward to once once the dark times have passed and light has returned to the world, and we can once again go out among the people with hearts full of love and joy. And I really don't know where else to take this metaphor, but of course there is procedure to follow. So as always, we're going to begin with Ask a Geek, and we got some questions here. First one here comes from Peter, and it's addressed to me, but I'm going to open this up to you, Mike, as well. And his question is, what do I think of the new Switch OLED that has been announced? So for those three of you who don't know what it is, Nintendo announced a new model of Switch. It's the same as the old Switch, but this one has an OLED screen. I'll probably get one for the collection, but it's not going to be my daily driver. I'm not really impressed with it. It's the screen's an inch bigger. Whoopty shit. I was really kind of hoping. I was one of those people who's really hoping that the Switch Pro rumors are going to be true. So yeah, Bloomberg. Thanks for wishing on the monkey's paw for the last 2 years. But I'm not really all that impressed with it. Truth be told, I'm thinking that this is a bit of a misstep. Mike, what about you?
So not buying this. Honestly, if I got sent a review unit, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. I think Alex is trying to buy one. I like the idea of the bigger screen, OLED. That's cool. Hope you got a plan for burn-in. And a wired LAN port in the back. Holy shit, it's almost like you should have done that when the system was out. Stupid. Yeah, not worth it. It's over $500 in Canada, and I got 500 reasons to say because it's the same tech, slightly bigger box, and yeah, like who the hell is this for? So I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Switch Pro should have been a no-brainer at this point, but considering we've heard very little concerning major Switch releases, like, where's Breath of the Wild 2? Yeah, I know it's coming, but I don't think we're going to see it running on this Switch's hardware. I think
I'm sorry, did you sleep through E3?
Fuck off. Like, no. Like the fact that we haven't seen anything significant on this hardware, we haven't seen video, we haven't seen like a little demo. I'm a little concerned. Now, Metroid Dread's gonna look great on anything you put it on. But
not significant. Metroid Dread is like #1 on pre-orders right now.
No, listen. What I said is I think the fact that we haven't seen more on Zelda on this hardware, I think kind of says something. I think they're holding it back a little, probably, because they're trying to figure out how to optimize it. Metroid's going to be awesome. That's going to look great on no matter what you put it on. If I was to get the new Switch, it'd mostly be for that, so it would look good in handheld mode. But I play on a 55-inch 4K TV anyway, so what's it matter? Because it's Switch, it's not outputting to 4K. So.
Yeah, that sort of brings up the question I have with this, which is like, who is this for? Because like that OLED screen only does you any good in handheld mode. So you would think that it would be for people who play almost exclusively in handheld, but we've already got the Switch Pro for that. Not the Switch Pro, the Switch Lite, which is $150 cheaper in the US than the OLED Switch. So it's kind of like, I mean, who's this really for?
Now, supposedly, I've heard it's going to be better for accessibility because the screen will be bigger, it'll be brighter. There's supposed to be better speakers and audio tech in this thing. But okay, that's cool. You're serving the accessibility needs. That's very important. But for the larger commercial market, I don't know. I think it's delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like I said, I'll probably get one for the collection, but it's not going to be my daily driver. So my current Switch is still serving quite admirably. All right, and let's see here now. Okay, here's a question I'm going to open up to both you and Kat. And the question is, for the D&D players in the audience, what is the funniest thing that you've ever seen happen in a D&D game that you participated in? So, Kat, let's start with you on this one.
Gosh, what was I mean, everything's really funny when you're a little bit drunk and you just, like, make a lot of movie quotes. But I think the funniest thing, like, I did was during my Curse of Strahd campaign. It was sort of like a homebrew Curse of Strahd that I participated in. And, my character was a changeling, so she shapeshifted into Strahd's brother that he killed. I don't know if that's in the real Curse of Strahd or if that was just our like homebrew version of it, but yeah, it's like a tragic love story, kills his brother to get his brother's girl kind of thing.
Like you do.
And I had this like potion that doubled my size. And I had the Sun Sword, which is the sword you need to defeat Strahd. And so I'm like this giant, like, horrific-looking version of Strahd's brother, and I've got the Sun Sword, this thing that could kill him. And so the DM rolls. I roll an intimidation check to scare the shit out of him, and the DM basically rolls like his own check to see if Strahd would be scared, and like nat 1'd it, and the the DM was like, well, Strahd just pissed himself. And if you've ever played Curse of Strahd, that is an incredibly funny thing to imagine. Like, here's the big bad of this entire campaign, this monstrous vampire that created this hellscape that you have to survive, and he just kind of beat himself a little bit.
Okay.
Best intimidation check ever.
All right, Mike, what about you? Funniest thing that you've seen happen in a D&D game?
Okay, so I mostly DM because I'm the forever DM, but I've been a player a few times. I can think of, I played in a convention game Com Bravo a number of years ago with several well-known YouTube personalities at the time. And one of our players threw crushed glass in a guy's eyes. That stays with me because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then my big plan was to put everybody inside of a sack, punch them and put them in a sack because, you know, as one does. I'm trying to think, what is another one? I was the DM for another game. There was a brawl with an assassin at a tavern, and one of my players had a pet chicken named Reginald, and for some reason one of my PCs had a flaming sword, and Reginald got turned in the Swiss Chalet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Next question here. Okay. Why do I have 2 copies of this question? Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here's one for you, Kat, and this is one that I'm excited to hear your answer for. What would be your dream voice cast for an anime series?
Oh no. Oh no. What a question. It's everyone. It's just everyone. I guess it would depend on how big of a cast, because I could just start like listing every actor I've ever worked with that I had a really good experience with, and just be like, well, I need Kent Williams in a role, and I need I need Jerry Jewell in a role, and I need Wendy Powell in a role, and Monica in a role, and it just like, oh my god. I need a little more specificity there.
Okay, all right.
I would start naming every dub actor.
Okay, so then let's come up with a hypothetical anime.
Yes.
Okay, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style shonen anime. You get an ensemble of 5 leads and 4 side characters and 1 villain. Go.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a main character that's voiced by Eric Vale, and I'll tell you why. Because my first convention that I ever worked in guest relations, I was thrown into what we oh my god, we called them the trifecta, which was Eric Vale, Jeremy Inman, and Chris Kaysen. And they are 3 very lovely actors, and when you put them all together, they just become like terrorists. They are pranksters, they are having fun, they are telling jokes, they are unmanageably interesting and fun. So I'm gonna need a main character voiced by Eric Vale. I'm gonna need some sort of goofy sidekick that is voiced by Jeremy Inman, and I'm gonna need, so let's see, one Kaysen, there's some Kaysen. I can be directed by Kaysen. I don't know what Kaysen what would Kaysen do? I don't know. Kaysen's directing. I'm gonna need, let's see, who would I want as a female lead? I want some sort of female character, maybe not a romantic lead, but maybe like if it's a JJBA, maybe like a Jolene kind of character voiced by Danny Chambers. She is my dream. I want her in more shows. And I need some sort of just brick, like huge buff tank of a character voiced by Bill Butts. I just listed a lot of people who I consider my friends. I hope that's okay. I mean, like, ultimate, like, if I had to, like, that's really it. Like, my ultimate dream is just the people that I'm really friendly with, who I've known for many years and, like, worked with at cons, rather than, like, oh, well, I want Steve Blum and Mary Elizabeth and Phil Lamar, and like, I could name a lot of really big names, but really what I'd want are all my friends. Is that cheating?
No, I mean, you know, it's your anime to cast, so you know, so those are your 5 leads. You still got your 3 sides and one villain.
Okay. Oh, a villain. Oh shit, I need a villain. Oh my gosh, who's a great villain? Everyone are a great villain. Oh my god, Michael Tatum. Tatum needs to play a villain. He does such a good he just naturally has a good voice, but I think Tatum would I don't think I've ever seen a show with J. Michael Tatum as a villain in it, Like, I'm sure he's done it, but I don't think I've ever seen him as a villain, and I think that would be really fun to watch.
Okay, all right, and your 3 side characters.
Oh gosh, let me get are we talking like goofy side character or just like some ancillary characters? Because obviously you want like Monica Rial in there somewhere, but maybe not dominating the stage. Oh my god, Chris Bevins, I also really love to hear in a show. And one more side character to be my dream cast. Steve Blum. Just put Steve Blum in there. It's fine. Everything's fine. You don't, because again, you got somebody with such a distinctive voice that you make them the main character and everybody's just going to go Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Bebop. You got to have him there as an ancillary character so he's not dominating the whole show. And it's narrated by Kent Williams.
Okay. Alrighty.
I knew some of those names.
I adore everybody that I've just named. I've worked with almost all of them. Kent Williams was like the narrator on he was the narrator on Yu Yu Hakusho. So he's like perfect narrator voice. And all of those people that I just named are all really great actors. I'm not going to go into look them up. I don't even remember who I just named, but look them up.
Okay, all right, and our final question is for me, and this one comes from Lawrence, and his question is, I know, Gonzo, that you said that you're not a He-Man fan, so I'm not going to ask you about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Thank you. But I am going to ask you why you don't like Kevin Smith. Okay.
Oh, no.
I love the new He-Man, by the way. It's fucking awesome.
I don't like Kevin Smith for the same reason that I don't like Will Wheaton or Joss Whedon. Yeah, I hated Joss Whedon before it was fashionable to do so. That got dark.
This is a whole other discussion we should be having for an episode. Yeah.
But basically, the reason why I don't like Kevin Smith is because he kind of buys into his own hype. He gets treated as sort of like one of God's gift to nerddom, and he kind of buys into that, and that just always kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm also not a huge fan of his writing in general. I feel like he just kind of tells the same. I don't know. Nothing that he's ever written has ever really clicked with me. So I don't see the. I guess I just don't see what's so great about his writing that everybody just flocks to it. But I mean, like I said, really, the big one is that, you know, the whole they buy into their own hype thing. That's just always going to rub me the wrong way. You know, and that's I mean, that's really it. And now, you know, that dislike predates the Masters of the Universe. The new Masters of the Universe series, which, again, never watched He-Man as a kid, so don't have a dog in that race, so don't really care either way. Although the Kevin Smith Association certainly doesn't do it any favors. But like I said, it's just I don't like people who buy into their own hype. And I know that's really weird to say that as someone who wants to be a web celebrity, but it's just like, you know, I hope I never get to the point where I buy into my own hype. So, but that's really just the reason I don't like Kevin Smith. Is it petty? Probably. You know, I'm not saying you've got to agree with me or that you're wrong if you like Kevin Smith. You know, I'm probably gonna give you the side eye if you have a shrine to him in your closet like one of my friends did. Holy Lord. That's a whole nother discussion, but, you know, it's just not for me, and I feel like he buys in his own hype. So that's really just the simplest way for me to put it. That's why I don't care for Kevin Smith. So, but anyway, that is all the Ask Geek questions that we have for this week. Thank you, as always, for sending them in, and as always, you can send them to us through the email at drgonzo@nerdofthethirdpower.com. Love getting your questions, love reading them on the air, so get your questions in, and you just might get yours read on the show. So, for the last 18 months, the world has been veiled in darkness and depression and we're all under lockdown, and it's been a world of misery and darkness. The whole world has basically become New Jersey.
Oh, no. I haven't thought of it in those terms, and you're right.
Frankly, all the New Jersey natives are looking at the rest of the world going, yeah, not so easy now. You got to do it, is it?
We apologize to any of our New Jersey listeners, the New Jersey listeners that may actually exist who may be offended by this statement, but y'all got to know where you live.
But now we seem to be approaching the end of the tunnel. We can at least see the light. There's a chance that things might be returning to normal soon. Things are starting to open up. And so we thought that, it would be nice to look forward and talk about things that, we've missed during the lockdown and things that we're looking forward to doing once the world is bright once more. If there's one thing that the last 18 months have taught us, I think it's not to take anything for granted, because, there's so many little things that you don't even think about in your day to day. But then once you can't do those things anymore, or those things are removed from you, you suddenly feel their void, like a hole in your heart. And I should probably stop belaboring this analogy. And this very, very purple prose. So let's just get right into it. What are some things that you are looking forward to when lockdown ends? And I guess I'll go ahead and get started. I am really looking forward to going on big, epic game hunting crawls again. There's still some stores nearby me that are open, and I go into them every now and then to buy a couple things, but I haven't gone on just a real good all-day, multi-state, 10-store game crawl in like 3 years. And like, I really want to do one of those again, and just take a couple $1,000s out of the bank and just make a day of it, and just come home, my trunk groaning with treasures, and just been putting a significant dent in the inventories of several game stores. Like, I really miss doing that, because it was something that me and a couple of collector buddies would do, and it was just one of the most fun things that like we've ever done. Was like our last big Pennsylvania crawl, where we basically just made a circuit around 10 stores in the Philadelphia and Lancaster and York areas, and just one of the most fun days of my adult life, and I would really love to be able to do that again. So that's one of the big things that I'm really looking forward to once lockdown ends. Mike, what about you? What's something that you're really looking forward to doing once the lockdown's over?
Nothing that costs a couple $1,000s. I would be happy just to go outside. I have a immunocompromised system thanks to my amputation and all the health issues I've had over the last couple years, and I'd really like to be able to go down to my local board game cafe and play Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm not as optimistic as probably you are that this is all over, or getting near over. I really have some reservations about that. I don't know, just simple things for me. Like, getting outside for me is like a 10-minute process, so whereas you can just walk outside. I guess I'm just looking for the little things in life again. I'd love to go to the movies, but with the availability of streaming services and stuff coming day and date at home, I'm willing to pay for it to stay home so I don't have to be around people. I haven't been in a Walmart since November of 2020 was the last time I was in a store. I haven't even been... No, I've been in my local corner store, which is like a 1-minute drive in my wheelchair from where I live. And that's about as far as I get. It'd be nice to be able to go into these big stores again and look for toys and stuff like that, but I don't know. I want the little things back, but I don't think normality is coming back for quite some time.
Yeah, dude, it's really not the same doing all your shopping online as opposed to going to the store and be able to actually like browse the shelves.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be a scalper bot on, eBay or on Best Buy or something to buy whatever you want. It's another thing to stroll into Walmart or Target or Toys R Us and find that variant that's on the shelf, or hey, here's this Star Wars Black Series that's really in demand, that's really been sitting here since 8 o'clock this morning, or here's some new He-Man toys that no one's gotten at yet. Yeah,
and then beating the scalper in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, like I miss doing that little thing because I know there's a couple scalpers around where I live that scalp all the Transformers, all the G.I. Joe, all the Power Ranger stuff, and it'd be nice to beat them every now and again, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not as optimistic.
Now I got this image in my head of you putting like a cow catcher on the front of your wheelchair and just like, tearing down the toy aisles like 80 miles an hour and just like, just knocking over scalpers like bowling pins.
People do tend to get the hell out of the way.
Sick little monkey.
People do tend to move when they see this big man coming through in this big pink ass wheelchair. So get out of my way, motherfuckers! I got toys.
Wearing a fanged steel mask, screaming, "Witness me!" Getting Mad Max up in this bitch. All right, Kat. What about you? What's the biggest thing that you're looking forward to once the pandemic ends?
Gosh, I'm kind of like a little bit Gonzo, a little bit Birdman, where I have little things I'm looking forward to, things I'm looking forward to. And I'm also a little bit with Birdman, where I also don't think this is going away. So when we originally planned this topic, things were a lot better. We were starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then as the weeks have gone by and this episode recording date got closer, we're like, okay, now Delta's a thing. And it's not looking so hot right now. But this too will eventually pass. And
we must live in hope, for it is all we have left.
But unlike you guys, I leave the house every single day to go to work. Like, I don't work from home or anything like that. So I'm out all the time. So there's not a lot of the, like the getting out of the house and seeing people. I'm out of the house every day. I see people every day. That stuff does nothing for me right now because I'm actually quite tired of that. What I'm really looking forward to on the small scale is like just eating out at a restaurant without being really paranoid. Especially because the county that I live in is really, really dedicated to doing as little as possible about mask mandates and stuff like that. They're very, very dedicated to getting reelected by people next year without diving too much into the politics, but that's what it is, y'all. They don't want to make any rules here, so they don't. And we're kind of, where I live is kind of the epicenter of the St. Louis region sort of going like, hey, they don't have any rules up there, so we're going to go up there and eat at all the restaurants and go to all the parks and everything. So it's sort of like, I just want to be able to go to my favorite brunch place and not like have to shifty-eyed look at everybody wondering whether or not they're vaccinated. That sort of thing. I'd like to be able to spend more than like 5 minutes in a store because I still have to go out and do some shopping, but it's just like essentials for the last year and change. And that's really frustrating because, I've had to buy pants, I've had to buy shoes. Like you go to Target to like try on pants and they don't even let you try on clothes there. They're like, take it home and return it if it doesn't fit. You can't even like try on clothes. You can't even do like these basic essentials of like just this basic shopping that you need to get done. So it's really frustrating all around to just try and do the basic things you need to do outside of the home. So I'm really just looking forward to even like the normalcy of chores. Like I want to be able to go to the grocery store without everybody staring at me because I'm the only one still wearing a mask. I want to be able to go out to eat without the restaurant being really crowded and then just being scared that, oh, there's too many people here. They're not spacing tables out and who knows who's safe to eat around and stuff like that. So small scale, I'm just looking forward to like everyday life, just returning to some semblance of normal.
I want to circle back to the restaurant thing, because like that's something else that like I'm really, that I never thought about would be something I'd miss until like it actually happened. And like especially now that like, you know, I've got a girlfriend. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. We've been dating for 6 months, and it's like, you know, all the times that she's come down to visit, it's basically just been the two of us in the apartment, you know, watching TV and playing video games. Which, I mean, that's fun. That's great. You know, it's great that, you know, that she's a gamer just like me, and so that you know, that's a fun time for both of us. But it's like, you know, we just had our 6 month anniversary, and it's like, you know, we gotta do something special. Like, you know, we gotta do something for the 6 months. So like, you know, I was determined that I was gonna take her out to eat. So I found a restaurant in Baltimore that had like really great, you know, masking rules and spacing standards. It's called Sabatino's. It's in the Little Italy neighborhood, and we just had a great time. And it's like, you know, it was during this dinner that I sat and I realized, you know, it's just like, wow, I never even realized like how much just being able to go out to eat, you know, is such a huge part of the human experience. Like, just being able to go out and do this, like it honestly felt like I'd never done it before. So like, I'm sitting there like, okay, do my elbows go on the table? Can I put my, no, I can't lean this in. Does a napkin go on my lap? Which of these glasses do I actually drink from? Help, Miss Manners. And I think it's safe to say that like the things that we miss the most are just like the little things, you know, just being able to go to, you know, go grocery shopping without worry, or, you know, go out to eat, or even just like take a walk in the park. But of course, you know, there are also some things you know, really big things that were either canceled this year and last, you know, or things that, you know, we're hoping will be coming back soon, that, you know, we'd like to see come back. So, Kat, what's something large scale that you'd like to see that you're looking forward to, you know, once everything is all over and done with? I'm sure you're probably looking forward to hosting a real, actual, honest to God con again.
Oh, you know it, baby. I can't wait to have a normal con. So, like, running a convention is really, really incredibly stressful. It's one of the hardest things that I've ever committed myself to doing once a year for eternity. And running the online version of the convention, you'd think would be easier because you can just do it all from home. But it's actually way, 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 way harder because you have to reinvent the wheel of how to make anything and everything work. And like, just from my point of view, I did not enjoy it. It was not in the least bit fun in any way, shape, or form. No matter how cool the people we worked with were and how much people had fun, it was not a joy to put on. And the regular convention is very difficult to do, but there is so much joy to be found in doing it. And I just cannot wait. I'm so glad that you knew exactly what I wanted to talk about, which is I can't wait for conventions to come back. Conventions are already starting to come back. There's been a lot of in-person conventions with masking rules taking place already. And it's really, really worrisome because obviously these things were planned before the Delta variant really kind of came in and is sort of wrecking our world all over again. And it's too late for a lot of these conventions to back down now. So some people are going out there and getting a convention experience, but you know, it's not the usual normal convention experience. There's still a lot of stuff that conventions are having to do to restructure, to bend over backwards to keep people safe. And like mask mandates, look, guys, nobody wants to be walking around their convention wearing a mask unless it's part of their costume. But we got to keep doing it until this is all over. And it's really hard to get 100% people on board with that. And I really just can't wait to have a normal convention where we don't have to worry about, you know, making sure that people are standing so far apart and restructuring everything that we have spent over a decade building up to compensate. It's so stressful, and I just want it to be fun again. We don't want to have to sit here and excruciate over whether or not we're going to have to cancel or reschedule or figure out what to do in lieu of our normal convention. it's been 2 years of this, and I'm really looking forward to just being able to run my show like normal and take my guests out and show them a good time, and see the attendees coming in and out and doing their thing, and everybody having a lot of fun without there just being that undercurrent of both being scared and worried, but also that uncanny valley that we had this past year where it's almost normal, but you know that it's not. And I just look forward to putting all that behind us, hopefully next year, putting this all behind us and returning to normal convention where everybody can just... I don't want it to sound like too sappy here, but conventions are like a safe space for nerds. It's where you go to be yourself in a judgment-free, wonderful, wonderful place. And when you have that undercurrent of fear running through it, it really takes away from how safe conventions feel. So I'm just looking forward to a normal convention so badly.
Yeah, I imagine it's difficult to fully enjoy a convention when you've got the enforcers going around trying to enforce the spacing requirements. Leave room for Jesus and at least 3 disciples.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Not Judas, fuck him. That's as religious as we get on this show.
Yeah, but yeah, just a normal con. That's all I want.
What about you, Mike? What's something on the larger end of things that you're gonna want to do once the lockdown lifts?
Well, not so much something I want to do. It's something I want to see. A return to common fucking sense. The amount of so-called Facebook experts I see who claim things don't work and I don't believe in that, it's my right, and blah 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 blah. My God, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot less of that bullshit. I'll tell you, the social media over these last 2 years is, holy shit, it's a cesspool. And once you kind of have the inside track from someone who works in the medical field, my sister-in-law is a nurse practitioner and was actually one of the people who helped develop early COVID strategies for nursing homes, and it saved a lot of lives. But you would still hear from your cousins, friends, brothers, aunt, sister on Facebook, and there'd be some crazy new video on YouTube or wherever. And it just seems like things got a lot dumber in the last 2 years. So I'm looking forward to more intelligent conversation becoming the norm again. It just, I don't know, it's like everything come out of the woodwork in the last 2 years. Like, I guess if I had to maybe boil that down to a less offensive statement, I want social media to be fun again. And it just seems like it's a constant war zone between misinformation, anti-vaxxers, or people who think differently or whatever. It's mentally exhausting. And plus what's happened in the last 2 years on the political side, we're not really going to get into that, but that's exhausting too. And having a pandemic thrown into that, you've got a perfect recipe for constant chaos, 24/7. You can't escape it. It's connected to everything, and odds are it has 2-factor authentication. So,
well, I mean, I think what this has proven is you know, we like to joke being nerds how introverted we are and how we don't like people and we'd be perfectly happy being locked away. But I think what this has proven is how much, you know, we as a species really need, like, you know, face-to-face social interaction, that, like, you know, just being able to, or even not just face-to-face, maybe just, like, you know, talking to each other like we are, you know, vocally over the phone or something, that, like, you know, just communicating over text, over Twitter or Facebook just isn't cutting it. You know, we talk about how, you know, social media has, you know, allows us to communicate with people across the world, but, you know, we're all kind of basically, let's just call it what it is, confinement for the last year and a half. And I think it's really driven home that, you know, when you take away a lot of that face-to-face interaction, you know, it really does put a strain on relationships, both familial and friendship. You know, I saw my dad for the first time in 18 months, you know, a couple weeks ago, and, like, we were both just, like, in tears, you know, even though we'd been talking every week and we'd been meeting online to play, you know, Settlers of Catan or chess over Steam. Side note, I hope I never have to go through the fresh hell of having to teach my father how to run Steam. Like, Man's a rocket scientist. He can't figure out how to work an online store. So, but like, just, being able to actually, see each other face to face and like just have a pizza. I mean, it was just, it was such a relief. And like, we didn't do Thanksgiving in my family last year because of the pandemic. We didn't really do Christmas. We kind of did like a quick, like, we'll come in and we'll open presents and then we'll all kind of scatter thing. So like just being able to see family again on the regular, I think is something that I'm really looking forward to once the pandemic ends. And it's going to be, and even when the pandemic ends, that's going to be really hard because now my family is pretty much scattered to the four winds. It's really like I got my brother living with me, my sister lives up in Pennsylvania, and then my mom just moved out to Delaware. So the only relatives that I have in state are my brother and my father lives all the way down in Annapolis, which now that I'm living on the north end of Baltimore is like a good 50-mile drive. So it's not like I can just, hop in the car and, drive down and say, hey, Dad, you want to go grab a beer? So, being able to actually have family gatherings again, I think is something I'm really looking forward to. And it's something that like, not being able to see my family has been really hard on me. And, I can't imagine it's, well, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for you two. I mean, like, I'm gonna guess that it hasn't exactly been easy for you guys either.
I don't get out to see my family anyway. I mean, my family's Blair's family. Most of my blood family's dead. I saw my sister, my newly discovered half sister, for the first time last year, and my real father, who I found last year through ancestry.ca. We're supposed to meet for the first time this year, so that's cool to look forward to, being able to see people. I don't see Blair's sister-in-law so much because she works in healthcare. She has to get COVID tested literally every week as a just in case, because she deals with patients in the old age home and in hospitals. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing more family, because it'd be really cool to see my sister again, because she lives in Montreal. My dad lives out near Vancouver Island, so literally opposite ends of the country. So they'll come here in the middle to meet me, because my dad has to scatter his mother's ashes because she passed away from COVID, or not COVID, something earlier this year.
So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, trying to swing back things to a fun note, is I'm a student of history, and if there's one thing that I've learned over the course of my studies, it's that history tends to repeat itself. Maybe not note for note, but a lot of the same general story beats are there. And you go back about 100 years. We had just in the 1920s, we just come out of the Spanish flu, just absolutely, I think it was the Spanish flu, just absolutely just decimated the world population, but then you look at sort of the culture of the 1920s, they were called the Roaring '20s for the reason. You had all these, people having parties and fun, and you had this explosion in music and art and all the humanities. And I'm really looking, as kind of just this sort of giant middle finger to the world, like, hey, you tried to keep us down, but fuck you, we're still alive and we're gonna party. And like, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I'm hoping that history repeats itself again in this case. That when we come out of the pandemic, we find our fun again, and there's another explosion of creativity and new exciting content. I'd love to see a lot of I'm really looking forward to seeing all the new shows, the new music, the new books that come out of this, because if there's one thing that all people have in common, it's that we're driven to create. And if this pandemic has made it actually really hard to be a creator of any stripe, because of the general malaise that's been in the air. So I'm looking forward to seeing just that culture explosion over the next decade. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the new stuff that's coming down the pipe. So but now, Kat, you had a hypothetical that you're about to pose to us?
Yes. Okay. So that we can end on a really fun note. Hypothetically, if the pandemic were over today, if we solved it, everything is good, everything's gone back to normal, and money were no option, where would you go?
New Zealand.
Oh fuck, that's such a good answer.
I'm going to New Zealand. I'm getting myself a perfectly accessible plot of land, geothermal power, and I want to be close enough to a hospital because I do have complicated kind of medical needs. It's going to be my wife and cats, maybe a couple friends that I like.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to pay the world's best computer person, erase my social media, and it's going to be one simple message on my Twitter. It's been fun, guys. Be excellent to each other. And that's what I would do if the pandemic ended today.
Wow, really? You just screw you guys, I'm going home, huh?
Yep, I'm going
And
home.
home is now New Zealand.
Yep, I've had just about enough of everything. It's been fun. Be good to each other.
All right. Well, let's see, I was gonna say I'd pay to take us all to take us all like to Disneyland or Paris or something. That, but New Zealand. Now that kind of makes my idea seem kind of trite. Okay. Money were no
Vegas
object.
campus sounds fun.
I think if money were no object and the pandemic were solved today, I'd actually find so. You know what? I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with the Disney World idea. I would pay for us all to come together and go to Disney World and just go on like a 2-week long vacation together because, like, some of us have never met face to face. Like Kat and I went to college together. And Mike, I met you in Chicago.
Yep.
But like, none of us have ever met Skyblaze face to face, and they've never met any of us. We've never met Tony. I'd see if Brian wanted to come along, and if I could run him down, John as well, and bring Cabo and just have a big Nerd to the Third Power reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big 2-week, blowout at Disney World. And we'd stay in the Star Wars suite in Galaxy's Edge, the Millennium Falcon suite.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, what about you? If money was no object, what would you do if the pandemic were over today?
Man, I know this doesn't sound as great as your guys. In 2020, my family was planning on going to New Orleans, and I was trying to get my family to schedule it, kind of in the fall, so that we could do some like really cool spooky tours. And I have never been to New Orleans, and I have been promised for many years now that we would take a family trip there, and 2020 was the year we were going to finally do it. So if the pandemic were over tomorrow and money was no object, I would literally get the most expensive hotel in New Orleans and just eat myself sick every single day.
And you know what? If you're going to do that, New Orleans is the place to do it.
Right, that's kind of what I'm thinking is like I want to go on all the cool spooky ghost tours and just dive headfirst into all the cool tourist shit. But really, I want to go to New Orleans to eat. I want some crawfish etouffee. I'm gonna go to that one really famous place whose name I'm blanking on, and I'm gonna throw my face into
Which one? There's like 100.
No, it's the really famous place that does the beignets.
You just want to do the Homer Simpson, just eat your way through the whole city.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I've wanted to do that for years, and then do spooky, like, Halloween-y, ghosty tours and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to go ghost hunting, man. If I ever went there, I'm going to fuck with Casper so hard.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be like, if it was all over, my family first plane to NOLA, and we'd be getting some good food. We'd be eating our way through, getting go to the Admirals or whatever that place is called. That's not what it's called. I can't remember the name of a single restaurant in New Orleans because I haven't gotten to go. But like all those famous restaurants there that are like high class, whatever, I'm going to stay at a nice hotel. I'm going to go listen to some great music, and I'm going to eat so much food. And that's what I would do if the pandemic were over today.
Alrighty.
Oh,
okay.
Plus, I'm going to go bitch slap Don Cheadle for putting me in Facebook jail before I leave to New Orleans. Fuck you, War Machine.
And that is how a podcast comes full circle, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
we
right.
did it for the first time ever in a decade of podcasts. We have finally managed to bring one entirely full circle.
And I'm like, Boob, you looking for this? Sorry.
All right, well, that is all the time that we have for Nerd of the Third Power this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sound off in the comments. What is something that you were looking forward to doing after the pandemic is over? So, yeah, we love hearing from you guys. We will see you guys next time. As always, I'm Dr. Gonzo.
I'm the cat.
I'm LeBron James.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Taka, play us out.
Fucking Space Jam.
I see